Hey there, folks. How you doing? This is Tony with Getting Back to the Basics. So, I've done a lot of videos, and one video I haven't done is about talking about sharpening a chainsaw. Sorry, got the bar in the way. So, it's real important, and it's super key to have a really good sharp chain on your chainsaw. Because if you don't, and you don't have it, have the gullet set up right, or the teeth, some people call it that, and have the raker set up, you can have a sharp tooth or gullet. If the raker's not taken down, it's not going to cut. If you got the raker taken down too much, it's going to grab, but it's going to grab too much. So what I'm doing here, and if you notice, I have me. This right here, this is called a Timber Tough chainsaw file. And what this does, this allows me to get the right angle every time. So you have 3 adjustments on here. You have a adjustment for the angle. So, chains for cross cut, cutting logs in half or cutting them down, is right about 30 to 35 degrees, give or take. And when you're milling logs, they're at between 5 and 10 degrees, and the ones that are set up at 5 to 10 degrees, they're known as ripping chains. So this chain on here right now is a ripping chain. So I'm going through and getting the gullets resharpened. I've already checked the rakers, and I'll show you everything on here as far as the different parts of the chain. So, and again, so this has 3 points that you can set and adjust. So we'll go ahead and do this here. I'm going to flip the camera around. So if you look here, this is the way this thing sets it. This just kind of flips up, and it's kind of stuck in there, right, and there you go. So, and it's designed to, it sits above the chain. You have this guide right here. You just get that right above that, that groove right there where the chain rides in. And you have another piece back here. You want to make sure that it clears that little bitty nub right there. So we're going to come here to the top. And if you notice right here, kind of hard to see because I use this out in the field whenever I'm milling logs and stuff. So if you notice, it's really hard to see. It's a 0 degree mark right there. So you got 5 and 10. If you come over here, let me turn it around so you can see it better. It might be a little bit better. So there you go. There's your 0, there's your 30, and your 35. So now if you come down here, so this is that right there, that's going to be the angle or your degrees of your gullet. And then I'll show you what the gullet is in a minute. Now if you look right here, this is going to be your pitch. So you have a pitch anywhere from 0, in which that's level, all the way to a 30 degree pitch. So, and what this is set at right about a 10 degree pitch. Now, no, I'm sorry, that's set at about a 5 degree pitch. I was looking at the wrong one, because if you notice on there, you got 0, 10, 30. So you got your 0 mark, you got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Now also, you have another adjustment back here. And what this adjustment allows you to do is, as you're running the file inside of that gullet, so remember I was going to show you, this is what they call, is known as your gullet, and here's your raker or your depth gauge. So your tooth or your gullet, for anybody that knows about running chainsaws, that's your gullet or the tooth. And here's your raker or your depth gauge. That right there should be the depth gauge or the raker. If you look real close, you can see a little bit of light, and that's about perfect to what you need. And you gotta check them, because you'll get some that this right here, once you take the gullet down or your tooth, that's going to be, that's going to be in line with that. So it's not going to help clear that out, and that's what a lot of that does. That helps clear out, you know, a lot of stuff that's in there. Also, that's your depth. So now I have the file set at a 10-degree angle. I have the pitch at 5 degrees, and then I have this top screw right here. What it does, if I turn this, and let me pull this out, you'll see how it fits in there nice and snug. So if I go ahead and turn this, see how it's trying, there you go, see how it just popped up? So what that does, that allows you to get the very, very top of the gullet. So we're going to put this back down in there like so. We're going to turn that knob, keep turning it until it barely, there we go. And so it's set in there, and you can see there's a little bit of a gap. So what we want to do is we want to work that down till there's, you know, there's no gap there, till that's pretty smooth. So we're going to flip the camera around, and we're going to go ahead and run this through here a few times. You know, and the trick to this is you got to sit there and get, you know, the chain at a good angle, and you sit there and you just, all you do is you just back and forth, and till you get that nice sharp edge on that gullet. And like I said, this is a timber tough chainsaw file. I am not endorsed, they are not paying me to say this, but I can tell you, if you're out in the field, this is a good investment. And a lot of times you just don't have access to power out in the field when you're milling logs. So let's flip this up and let's see. Oh yeah, that's a lot sharper. Oh yeah. So anybody that has ran chainsaws and knows what I'm talking about, you have a term called sticky sharp. Now, cover that up there because, you know, I get the chain sharp. The term sticky sharp means it's sharp as a cat's claw. So anybody that has cats, they know how sharp, you know, the very, very end of that cat's claw is. And it doesn't take much for that cat's claw to snag. So what I've done, and again, you want your gullet to be sticky sharp, so when you feel it, you're feeling it grab the skin. So I'm going to flip the file back down, and we're going to put it in there. We'll get the camera turned back around again. There you go. So now if you look real close, that space has closed up quite a bit. And you know, it's a slow process sharpening the chains by hand. But you know, again, if you don't have the means to have it set up, to have, you know, a generator out there, then this is your next best thing. You know, it works great. It's hard to get it exactly dead on every time. Some people are good. I can get the chain sharp, you know, by hand, but being consistent, I can tell you, sorry, I have a lot of gunk in my throat, so I'm just having a hard time here. Whenever I go to use, and I started using this, and it's not that expensive. I think that's like $25, $25, $26, something like that. And all the times that I used my chainsaw and sharpened the chain by hand, I would get one cut per tank, and then I would have to sharpen the chain again. This right here, I've gone as much as 2.5, almost 3 tanks before I have to sharpen it again, because it's the right angle every time. So it's a benefit, it's a plus, it will save you a lot of time. So anybody that runs a chainsaw, it's worth investing. Again, if you know, if you're gonna buy a chainsaw, get you a steel. Don't you know, and again, I'm not being endorsed by them. I've had mini chainsaws. I've had Home Light, don't like it. I've had Pullen, don't like them. Ryobi, okay, whatever. The list goes on and on and on. I've used Echo before, they're okay, but I like Steel. I've got a Husqvarna too. The Steel, something happened and it quit running one day, and I didn't know what it was, and come to find out, my Husqvarna did just quit running on me, and you know, long story short, wound up getting it fixed. So I said, well, let me grab the Steel and see what happens, and went out there, and it fired right up. So the only thing I can think of is it had probably a piece of trash right inside the carburetor, down where, you know, where the fuel, you know, goes in, you know, inside of the engine. And after that, the thing runs great, you know. But now I'm running a different type of fuel. I only run ethanol free, and then I also use the Steel HP Ultra, which burns a lot hotter. You can definitely tell the difference whenever you are running the chainsaw, because the fumes actually burn your eye. So, and they told me that it burns cleaner as far as, you know, the combustion inside the engine. So that's where we're at with that. I've been, you know, the last 3 different times I went out and I found 3 big pine trees. One was right about 25 inches across, another one's about 20, and another one's 15, and they were free. And what I'm doing is I'm milling these. I'm gonna mill these trees up, and I'm gonna turn them into usable boards, like I always do. And between the first day I went out there, the second day I was getting to the logs prepped so I could go ahead and mill boards on this past Saturday. And I was out there probably a good 5-6 hours. I went through about a gallon of fuel, and a gallon of fuel is like $4 for ethanol free, and of course the HP Ultra Steel 2-cycle mix, I think it's about almost $4 for a little bottle, make up 2 gallons. But so I would say probably $6 to run my chainsaw. So it was probably right about $1 an hour, give or take, you know, 75 cents to $1 an hour, which you can't beat that, you know, roughly. But so I'm taking these pine trees, I'm turning it into usable lumber. So anyway, folks, that'll be another project, you know, I'll get into, and that's, like I said, that's the project on the deck on the side of my workshop. And eventually, you know, we'll have the video for that and showing, you know, the roof and everything else, and some other things on, you know, that I'll be posting on there or on here as well. So anyway, folks, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and hit the bell when you know, so you can be notified. Anyway, folks, if you hope you enjoyed it, and you take care. God bless. Bye bye.